Welcome back to the Tapes Archive podcast, where we release interviews that have never been heard before. In this episode, we have the Doors keyboardist Ray Manzarek. At the time of this interview in 1998, Manzarek was 59 years old and was promoting his autobiography, My Life with the Doors. In the interview, Manzarek talks about whether Iggy Pop was considered to replace Jim Morrison, his dislike of Oliver Stone's movie The Doors, living in the shadow of Jim Morrison, and how he thinks David Crosby is an obnoxious guy. Yeah. As always, we have music critic Mark Allen at the helm conducting the interview. If you'd like to support the show, please like, follow, and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. There, we post other content and information not available on the podcast. If you'd like to read the transcripts for any of our episodes, please head over to our website at thetapesarchive.com. We'll jump into the interview after a quick word from our sponsors. The Tapes Archive is proud to be sponsored by the true crime documentary Dead Man's Line.
You've got 100 armed officers around here trying to get a shot at me. I dared them to shoot me. I didn't go down there to be a buffoon. I went down there for vengeance. And by God, I'll have vengeance.
In 1977, Tony Kuritzis kidnapped a mortgage broker and held him captive for 3 days. For the first time ever, the media was able to cover the event live. To some, Tony was a hero. To others, he was a crazed thug. Dead Man's Line, the true story of Tony Kuritzis.
This award-winning film is available exclusively on Amazon Prime. One last thing before we get to the interview, the Tapes Archive podcast is a proud member of Osiris Media, a global community connecting passionate fans with podcasts and experiences about artists and topics you love. Thanks for tuning in, and now it's time to open the vault.
Hello.
Hi, Ray?
Yes.
It's Mark Allen in Indianapolis.
Hi.
How are you?
Very good.
Good. You're expecting me, right?
Was I supposed to call you?
No, I was. Originally, but then they called me and said, call him. So
Very good. Hi, Mark.
Hi. That's how I got the number, you know?
Very good.
You're not in information, are you? You're
Not
in the
yet,
book
no. But I may put my name in there just to receive a lot of crank phone calls. All those strange guys who want to reform the Doors with them as the lead singer. These guys are usually sort of speed freaks out of the high desert here in California. 2,000 years ago, they'd have been followers of Jesus, but or Essenes, or some strange cult or something. But as it is, they're looking to be the new Jim Morrison.
Yeah, there are many things I want to ask you, but since you brought that up, there was always the rumor that Iggy Pop was going to become the front man of the Doors.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't going to become, but I mean, we were talking about different lead singers, and right. Iggy Pop was one of the guys.
And how far did that get?
Well, it was talk. As far as it got, we never got anybody. We talked about a lot of guys. We talked about Iggy. We talked about Mick Jagger. He already had a band, and then we talked about off the wall Paul McCartney, good singer, and a bass player.
Right.
Hey, we could get a bass player. So, but that didn't quite work out either.
So this book, why did you write it now?
It's my transition into the 21st century book. It's to help the audience, to help the young people who may not have an idea as to what the 60s were all about. Make it over this apocalyptic transition that we're in right now, this millennial apocalyptic transition period, and to know that there are some older people that carry the torch of love.
Don't you think all this millennium stuff is ridiculously overblown?
Well, not if you're a born again, not if you're a true believer in the apocalyptic nature of the Book of the Apocalypse, and which I am not, but many people are. They sincerely believe that these are the end times. So I'm trying to allay those fears. That's a real dark, paranoid, fearful way of approaching the universe, and I want the young people to know that there's another way to approach God and man and existence, and this is how we did it in the 60s, and maybe you guys might find some inspiration or some guidance in it. So that's why I'm doing it. And plus all those crap ass books about Jim. Holy cow! I mean, enough was enough already. I got sick of those crap ass books. God Almighty! People writing books who gave Jim a blowjob and are all of a sudden his love for life. Like, God, stop it, will you? I had anal sex with Jim Morrison's witch wife or something. I don't want to. Those books are sick. They're all sick. So anyway, that's why I did it.
And So do you feel like what you guys did and lived through was a good example for the youth?
Well, what we all lived through, what we did and what we lived through collectively, absolutely, yeah. You know, the fact that Jim Morrison died is a cautionary tale. But as far as what we created and how we created it, and the vibrations, dare I say it in this day and age, the vibrations that existed between the audience and the people was something to emulate. And if you're into the Bible, Jesus says, see how good it is for brethren to dwell together in harmony. And that's in fact what we did, you know, on stage at the Fillmore, playing for a bunch of hippies in San Francisco. It was incredible. You know, the 60s were incredible.
I wish you had written a bit more about the artistry, about how those songs were written and things like that.
Even more?
Yes, even more.
Even more?
Yeah, because personally, we've heard all the Jim Morrison tales.
Yeah, but you never heard any of the stories that I told.
No, and probably haven't heard them true until now. But I mean,
you didn't know about Miami. I mean, you'd heard about Miami, but you didn't hear that story the way I tell it about Miami.
Right.
What happened in Miami? You know?
Yeah.
No, God. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I'm glad to hear you say that. You know, that would have been fun.
Yeah, because I was just interested in how in the writing of the music.
How did the music come about?
Yeah, where did all this stuff come from? Because it's all credited to the Doors,
right?
But where? Okay, so
it's like, you know what? It's a lot like Light My Fire, or Jim Morrison singing Moonlight Drive to me on the beach, or I don't know if I could go through song by song.
No, I wouldn't expect you to go song by song, but 8 albums in 4 years. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
That's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, and
this day and age, isn't it? It's strange.
Oh my God,
it takes so long to make albums. I'm shocked. You know, aren't you guys out there songwriting? Well, you know what it is? It's too much touring. You can't write when you're on the road. It's virtually impossible. I don't know. I think people tour too much, quite frankly.
Yeah, were there long? I mean, obviously you weren't touring all that much.
No. Yeah, there were long periods when we didn't tour. You know, or we'd tour on a weekend. We'd go out and play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a Monday, and then we'd come back home. So nobody wanted to go on a 60-city tour. That's totally insane. You know, how the hell do you do anything but tour? You know, you can't create, and the musical creation was very important. So, you know, we tried to strike a nice balance between creating music and playing it for the people.
I think my favorite parts of the book when you're talking about playing at the Whiskey and there's nobody there and you're just rehearsing basically, and how you got it together. I mean, I guess I'm just more of a interested in the music than
you play music.
No, not that anyone would want to hear. That's for sure.
How humble of it.
But I just because to me the creative process is the most interesting thing.
Well, great, man. I'm glad to hear that.
So, Jim Morrison, is he in heaven or hell?
Is there a heaven or hell?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in them.
That's asking a question. You know, that's asking a question. You don't ask a question of an old acid head. You know, I mean, I'm a oneness man. Well, let me put it to you this way: Jim Morrison is in heaven because everybody. Here's the New Age religion. Here's the religion of Ray Manzarek. Everybody goes to heaven.
No matter what you've done?
There is no hell.
Oh, okay.
The hell, if you've done bad things, you're in hell. If you would do something bad on earth, you're in hell. Because the divine revelation of being one with the energy, to finding the Christ within you, is so divinely, deliciously good that to do wrong puts you in a crazy state of mind that is hell.
So you're talking about hell on earth.
Hell on earth, man. You got it.
And retribution? Are you a believer in retribution?
Retribution. You're giving yourself. I mean, for all your sins, you're paying the ultimate price for your own sins. You know, you're receiving the retribution right here on earth with the anguish inside of you. You don't need to be punished by an all-seeing deity. In fact, what happens to you after you die is that you merge with the energy of the universe. It's not so much a heaven state or a hell state, you know. You merge with the energy of the universe. The energy of the universe is God. You become God. God is you, me, all of us.
Are you a participant in an organized particular
Atenism, A-T-E-N. It's an ancient Egyptian religion that was last practiced in the 18th to dynasty.
Wow, how do you know about this?
Sigmund Freud's book, Moses and Monotheism, and lying on the beach in Venice having this revelation, being under the influence of a certain psychedelic substance. That was not illegal at the time, and that has since been made illegal by the fascists. Lying on the beach in Venice and feeling the energy of the sun and realizing that the energy of the sun is the purest form of God energy that we're capable of understanding in this life that we lead, this fleshy bodily life. And then reading about this guy in Egypt, the Pharaoh Akhenaten, A-K-E-N, Akhen, Akhenaten, or what could be A-H-K-E-N, A-H-K-E-N-A-T-E-N. And reading about him, and he had the exact same experience, and he's writing about the energy of the sun, the sun disk, they called it the Aten. And I read about that in Sigmund Freud's book, Moses and Monotheism, and then a few other books, and my God, this is exactly the same experience. So, human beings are, what's beautiful is that human beings are human beings. 3,000 years ago, or 1965, 66 on the beach in Venice, California. It's all the same, and it's going to be the same in the year 2000. So, hopefully all of us can plug into that energy and be creative and make art. Make love, make art. Make not war, not greed, not evil.
Okay. Let's see. Is it, thinking about it today and thinking Jim Morrison's now been dead as long as he was alive. Is that kind of incredible to you now?
And is that a fact?
Yeah, 27 years ago.
Yeah, poor guy, man. I sure wish he was still around. I'm telling you, that's a tragic loss. But interestingly, he was 27, as was Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain. Let's see who else. Brian Jones. They were all 27. They didn't make it past their 27th year. Yeah. A transitional period from youth to adulthood. They just couldn't quite make it. And, of course, I miss Jim immensely.
I meant
God, it would have been fun.
Yeah, you think he would have aged well?
Well, you know what? He was certainly aging quickly.
Yeah.
And the only thing he could have done was to turn it around. He would have had to have turned it around because he was, let's face it, he was drinking. He was overindulging. He drank too much, and he just overindulged himself. And he was not in good shape when he left for Paris, and things just didn't work out in Paris for him.
No, but you see what's going on in the music business now. Can you picture, yourself and the rest of the band, in your 50s going out on, a reunion tour and playing sheds and going all over the country?
No, we wouldn't be going all over. I can't imagine us doing that, but I'll tell you what we might be doing. We might be working on a new album.
Yeah.
We might be working on a film together. We might be working on a stage presentation together. We might be working on a Broadway show. We might be putting the Celebration of the Lizard together, or we might be doing a touring show called the Magic Theater inside of small auditoriums and smaller venues like Hermann Hesse and Steppenwolf, the Magic Theater. We talked about that, a prepared theater. So we'd be doing things like that.
You look at the way that the music business treats what it calls heritage artists now, and I think in a way it'd probably be almost better not to be
I wouldn't be surprised, Well, let's not be pessimistic.
Okay.
Let's think that things are going to turn itself around. That's what I'm hoping will happen in the future's right around the corner. 21st century will turn it all around.
I don't mean any disrespect by this. I just want to ask you, do you feel ever like you're living in the shadow of a dead man?
No. Here's how it goes. That's my friend. That's my friend Jim Morrison. We went to the film school together at UCLA, and we got the idea to put a rock and roll band together. And I was going to play the music, and he was going to be the lead singer and Birdman. I was going to be the music man. And along came John and Robbie and joined us to make music. If you've got any brains at all, you have to realize that the lead singer gets all the attention, both good and bad. He gets all the attention, but he also gets busted. He gets all the shit. He gets all the crazies who come around, people with the drugs. drugs and the booze. Come on, Jim, get drunk with me. I mean, Jim, of course, was supposed to get all the attention. So the fact that he's gotten all the attention, that's right. Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be. But I'll be damned if all of that attention didn't kill him, too, in the end.
Yeah, but you look at other bands. I mean, that is a very refreshing perspective on things, because you look at other bands, and their other bands have just destroyed themselves because of that, because of the jealousy over the attention that one particular member gets. Or if you've ever watched The Who, I mean, it was a musical fist fight, you know? I mean, it was unbelievable.
They made such great music.
They did, but you know, I mean, Townsend could not stand the idea that Daltrey got that attention, you know?
Yeah.
And,
right, well, it's the lead singer. Come on, you know, and Pete probably felt like, hey, I wrote the songs, I put this whole damn thing together, and why is he getting all the attention? Because he's the cute one, man. You got the big schnoz. Look at you. You look like a dork. I mean, you're a genius, and you're a great guitar player, great songs, but, you know, you're a dork, whereas Roger Daltrey's got those golden boy pops, of course, you know? And in Morrison's case, I mean, Morrison had the looks. I knew that right off the bat. My God, the girls are going to love this guy. I don't give a shit about that, man. We're going to make great music together. The music and the poetry, the words and the music are going to blend together and just be absolutely brilliant. So the fact that he got all the attention. However, John Densmore just hates Jim because Jim got all the girls. Poor John.
Yeah, that's made fairly clear in the book as well.
I hope he's over it by now. You know, I think writing his book helped him get over a lot of that anger at Jim Morrison. Yeah. Why did he get all the girls, John? Because he's the handsome one. You know, you're not bad looking, but Jesus Christ, John, you're not fucking Jim Morrison. Come on.
Another thing that I wish you had addressed a little more. You wrote a lot about playing, about how he came to play bass on the organ and all. How hard is that? I mean, how physically demanding was that?
It's not.
Really?
It's not, no. I mean, if you can do it, it's not. If you can't do it, it's impossible. You know, it's as simple as that. It's a very rudimentary and very fundamental kind of bass lines I was playing with my left hand. And coming out of that boogie-woogie and Chicago blues, and my left hand had an independent movement of its own. So to do it was not difficult at all. I mean, I played walking lines on the piano with my left hand, and then along comes the bass. Well, whoa, man, you play walking lines on the bass, and it actually sounds like a bass. So it really wasn't difficult at all.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote a lot about your problems with the movie, and that was one of the things.
That movie.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I mean, one of the things that bothered me about the movie was it didn't have anything to do with the band.
No, it did not at all.
And I've always thought that what you did was one of the. I mean, I don't care how simple you say it was. To me, it was one of the more amazing things that rock and roll ever did. So, I wish that there had at least been a little bit of paying attention to the band and what the band did.
Well, again, there's that charisma, that gosh darn charisma of Jim Morrison. It was just absolutely overpowered Oliver Stone. I mean, let's face it, Oliver Stone fell in love with Jim. I mean, it was definitely a sexual relationship going on. And, fortunately, Jim wasn't around, so Oliver couldn't make a fool of himself trying to actually have intercourse with Jim Morrison. Something of that nature. So, I mean, Oliver Stone was in love with Jim Morrison physically. So,
could you have stopped that movie?
No, I couldn't, because we had already signed our rights away to Bill Graham in an act of another act of self-immolation. I thought Oliver Stone would be good. I mean, I must say, when we first got together and it was Oliver Stone who wants to make the Doors movie, it seemed like a good idea. Nobody knew at the time that Oliver Stone was actually that crazy guy that then began to twist everything, twist the 60s around. Up until that time, I think he was coming off of Born on the 4th of July. So it was like Platoon and something else and Born on the 4th of July, and Oliver Stone wants to make the Doors. Sounds great, let's do it. Then I read the script. I thought, oh my God, don't make this movie. I told Oliver Stone. I told him, over the telephone, he wanted to get together and go over the script. I said, the script is completely wrong. Don't make this movie. If you want to make the right movie about the Doors, please call me. I'm at your disposal. I'm at your beck and call. I want us all to make the best movie about the Doors and the 60s we possibly can. Please call me. I never heard again from Oliver Oliver's film.
I guess on the one plus side, didn't Kyle MacLachlan look eerily like you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was, that was...
I mean, I have no complaints with the actor's portrayal. That was fine. I mean, Val Kilmer did a good job as Jim. I mean, that was all fine. It was just the director and the writer. He was the director-writer, and he was wrong. He was absolutely wrong.
I mean, the band, it seemed like all the band did was scowl throughout the whole movie. So
right, exactly.
And obviously there were plenty of good times.
A lot of fun, man. Potheads, a bunch of potheads in the 60s. Are you kidding? We had a time of our lives. God almighty.
Let me just ask you a couple other quick things. Is it better to burn out than it is to rust?
Is it better to burn out
than it is to rust? No, it's rust.
Oh, to rest. R-E-S-T.
No, R-U-S-T, as Neil Young
said. Is it
said.
better to burn out than to rust? Life is life. You live life for 5 years, for 55 years, for 105 years. It doesn't matter. You're going back to the same place you came from. It doesn't matter what you do here.
Really?
You should have a joyous life while you're on the planet. That's all that matters. And obviously, don't hurt other people. That's very simple. It's not difficult.
That sounds very simple. How do you know so much about Nico's oral sex technique?
I never experienced it. For God's sake, don't tell my wife. This is the story. Jim didn't elaborate on it, but, he told me the story. And having had it done before and since then, I understand exactly what he was talking about.
Have you heard David Crosby just wrote a song called Morrison? Have you heard it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Then you can't talk about it.
Okay. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
How do the lyrics go?
It's more of a darker Morrison. He said the time he spent around Morrison was very unhappy, and he did not like Morrison. He thought Morrison was an obnoxious drunk. So
that's odd coming from David, because he's really an obnoxious guy too. I know David. He's really an obnoxious guy.
Oh, okay.
He is. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, what a jerk.
I don't know him. So.
Yes, I know him. I don't like the man.
And finally, I want to ask you: did you have something to do with producing the Knack at the beginning?
No, I was going to. I was going to. Yes.
I was at some.
Didn't come about.
I was at some club in L.A. in I guess what was that, the late 70s? I guess, and you were there, and I thought, gee, I wonder what an odd pairing, and especially because at the time, I didn't see what anybody saw in the Knack at the time, and but I just remembered you being there, and I wondered about that.
That was before their whole persona became developed, and before their strange little stick. They were actually a very good band, and Stephen Stills was there, and a lot of people were very interested in the Knack at the time, and they were all a bunch of good guys. Bruce Gary and Doug Feiger and the other two guys. I mean, I knew Bruce Gary very well, the drummer, and Doug Feiger was a very good, down to earth guy. And then they became successful and became ridiculous. I was like, Doug, what the fuck happened to you, man? You're ridiculous. You're not this guy. Stop putting on these strange airs and this lame ass teeny bopper shit. You guys are much more intelligent than that. But they had some kind of a plan that they were going to do, and obviously it didn't work.
Well, I hope they saved the money for My Sharona.
Well, of course they didn't.
Right.
They bought big things and did stuff up their noses and stuff. So the money's all gone. Long since gone.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
anything else that you want to cover?
I think that does it.
Okay. Well, that's great. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Good luck with the book.
All right. Well, thanks very much.
Take care.
Okay, Mark. Talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Tapes Archive podcast. Please remember you can always find more information about the show and the individual episodes at our website, thetapesarchive.com. Until next time, the vault is closed.